Crackdown 3. Quack, quack, Motha, Ducka! That's right, everyone. We are back to talk about Crackdown 3 today. And that is going to be our Wednesday episode for this week. I'm your host, Derek, for the Blaise XPerience, as always. This is episode 69 you're joining us for, so we're almost at a big 70. That'll be this weekend. Our next podcast will be Saturday. We'll be back to talk about State of Decay 2 once again. So the next stream that you can view after hearing this, I might stream Thursday night. That's probably the next time I might be streaming. And then I will be streaming the finale of Crackdown 3. So if you missed it, then you can definitely go back and check that out, because I haven't officially beat the game yet, but I'm very close to beating it. So I will be streaming the finale. And then this is potentially going to be the last Wednesday episode of the podcast. Basically, I've been talking about it, and once we hit our 1-year anniversary, there's going to be some changes in the scheduling and everything. So this could be the last Wednesday episode officially, or it could be the last one for a good period of time. But you know, the podcast isn't going anywhere. Just I'm going to be restructuring some things. So, but hopefully you enjoy this episode. And we do have a guest back with us to talk about some Crackdown 3 today. This is a guest that you've definitely heard before. This is his record 11th appearance on the podcast, and his first time back on the podcast since episode 54, which was 2 months ago. Please welcome Monty back. How are you, Monty?
Hello, yes, I'm well, thank you.
It's been a couple months now, you know, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's just been head down, getting on with work, you know, as is February, January.
Yeah, we last talked about the Sea of Thieves Shrouded Spoils, that big content update.
Yeah, no, it's been a while.
It has been. What have you been up to for the listeners? You know, I know obviously, but the listeners don't know, so.
Oh, no, it's, I haven't really been up to much. Haven't been playing too many games. I've started up a bit, playing a bit of Elder Scrolls Online, which is, that's alright. And I'm finally playing Doom, even though I was in the beta for that. I haven't played it at all, so I'm finally playing Doom.
Oh, nice. How are those both?
Yeah, no, they're both good. Because I was into WoW for a bit, so playing Elder Scrolls Online is interesting, sort of seeing the differences. But Doom, it's amazing.
Yeah, see, I was huge into Skyrim, but I never tried the online. I'm kind of just waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, so.
Which would just be Skyrim 2.
Well, maybe, we'll see. I mean, when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, I'll be playing that for a while, so that'll be my big game for the year, probably.
I'm sure everyone will.
Exactly. You know, we'll see when it comes out, but hopefully, you know, maybe, I don't know, 2021, maybe? We'll see. That's my guess right now, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed, right?
Exactly. But you got into some Crackdown 3, though?
Yeah, no, I've between my busy schedule, I've been jumping into some Crackdown 3.
And have you played any of the previous versions, 1 or 2?
I have not, no. No, this is the first Crackdown game that I'm coming into.
Same here. So I didn't really know the franchise beforehand, but, you know, I saw the whole Terry Crews advertisement there, and, you know, it made me kind of want to jump into the game. I'm sure it happened for you, too. So
any game with Terry Crews, I'll play.
Exactly. So, I mean, he definitely sells it pretty well. You know, his advertisements are pretty funny. So I'm like, why not? I'll give this a shot. Plus, it's on Game Pass. I mean, if it's on Game Pass, then why not give it a try, right? I mean, if you already have Game Pass anyways, why not give it a shot?
Exactly. Yeah, free with Game Pass.
So before we get into any of the details, you know, what's kind of your first impressions of the game? Did you, you know, like it? Did you not like it? Did you find it okay?
I liked it. I think I was a bit wary of it because it reminded me of 2 other games. It reminded me of Saints Row 3, which was an amazing game. I loved that game. I played so much of that. And Sunset Overdrive. Which I finished. Sunset Overdrive was alright, but it didn't do quite as well.
Yeah, I had a friend say it reminded him of Sunset Overdrive as well. So it seems like that's kind of a common thread, maybe.
Yeah, so I was just wary of which side of the fence it was going to fall. But I think it's fallen more so on the Saints Row side, which is good. I've been really enjoying playing.
Yeah, so have I. I mean, it's one of those games that, like, it's been getting a lot of bad reviews, which I should say at the top of the show. There's been a lot of bad reviews out there. People have been trashing on it and stuff, which I don't really understand because it seems like they maybe just didn't understand, what the expectations should be for this game. I mean, I went into the game not really expecting much, just expecting, okay, I'm going to jump into this game. It's free to play for me because I'm on Game Pass, so I'm going to jump into it, see what it's like, and see what happens. And it kind of ended up being one of those games that's like sort of stupid fun, one of those kind of games where you just jump into it. There's not a ton of thinking involved, and you just kind of, go around shooting things and just have a blast with it. And that's kind of what I got out of the game. I wasn't really expecting like, oh man, this game's going to have amazing graphics or this game's going to have a super awesome story. Like, I just went into it not really expecting much out of it. And I think if you go into it not expecting much, you're going to get a lot out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I went into it having only seen the first trailer for it. So that was everything I'd seen for the game. And I knew Terry Crews was in it, but that was it. But no, actually going into it and playing it, I really enjoyed how open and free and just, sandbox fun the game is.
Yeah, it really is open too, because I mean, you have so many different objectives you can do, and you can do anything you want at any time. Like, you can even fight the end game boss early if you wanted to, because I actually heard in a podcast that someone accidentally beat the end game boss early, and they kind of they could still play the game afterwards, but they already had the end game boss done.
It's interesting. No, I like how the game's open to be played how you want to
play it. Right, I agree. No, it's definitely a fun game, though. I mean, there's obviously the two different modes. There's the campaign and Wrecking Zone, which we'll talk about both of those separately. But I would say the campaign was a lot of fun, and I would say Wrecking Zone was the complete opposite.
I think I'd agree. Wrecking Zone. So I personally played more of the campaign. I really enjoyed the campaign. I didn't get far, but I was just messing around and having fun. But Wrecking Zone, I enjoyed my couple of games that I played a few of each mode. I'll talk about the mode, but it was just there felt like no progression, no rewards, just no incentive to keep playing it. Sort of thing.
Right, and I guess we can kind of get into Wrecking Zone first here. I mean, Wrecking Zone, like you said, there's no progression elements to it at all, so you're basically just, playing games over and over again with no progression at all, so you're not, trying to unlock skins, you're not trying to unlock new abilities for your character, you don't unlock anything at all in this Wrecking Zone match, and it's a 5-on-5 match, and kind of like the draw of this match that they're trying to draw you in with is the Cloud Destruction, where, anything can be destroyed, and I will say at least this has going for it. That was actually pretty cool. I don't know if you destroyed some of the buildings and stuff, but when you shoot the buildings and things, it actually destroys them. You can see the little particles falling off, and it actually looks pretty cool. So I will say that works pretty good.
Yeah, no, I did really like how destructive and interactive, well, I say interactive, how destructive, really, the world is. And the maps were interesting. I quite like the maps. There's not tons, but the maps that are there at least have some interesting elements to them.
Yeah, I think I saw 3 different ones in my time playing. How many did you see?
I must have seen 4 or 5.
Okay, I think I saw about 3. I think there's a blackout zone, and there was a Greek type map where I played the territories match and a Greek type map. It had some Roman architecture possibly or something like that. Yeah. So there's a couple of different maps I played. I mean, there's not a ton of them, but they seem cool in some ways. But what I will say about the maps is they don't stand out too much because with the destructive nature of the multiplayer Wrecking Zone, they're all kind of just digital. So it feels like you're just kind of in a digital blueprint where the map's not finished. It's just a digital blueprint that someone okay, well, this is halfway done. We're not going to finish it the rest of the way. So which I understand why they had to do that for the destruction element, but it does leave the maps feeling kind of bland in a way. I don't know if you felt that at all.
Yeah, it makes me think of a couple of things from other games. Firstly, if you've played it all, Warframe with these Simulacarium. I can never remember how to pronounce it, but it's sort of like a digital just training zone. So it reminded me a bit of that in the sort of textures and stuff. It was odd because there seemed to be parts of it which they did texture, and then parts they didn't. They sort of just gave it this digital theme. So it felt like the maps weren't ever quite sure of what they were trying to be. Whether they were trying to go for this digital theme, or if they were trying to go for, the Roman or Greco-Roman sort of styles to them. So the maps felt a bit odd, but when you were actually in there playing, you were obviously focused on playing the game mode, so it didn't matter too much, but it was noticeable.
No, I agree, and I will say with the cloud destruction too, I mean, as good as it looks when it happens, like, the match happens so fast, and the cloud destruction really seems like it does nothing for the match itself, because you're in this 5-on-5 match, say you're playing the Agent Hunter one where you're trying to kill people, you're focused on trying to kill people, so you're not really paying attention to the destruction around you, and the destruction around you really does nothing for the match at all. I mean, the most it ever does is maybe in some rare situations, you can kind of punch through a wall and kind of like hide for a second to get your health back, but that's like all I really found that actually changed the match at all.
I did find definitely in territories, it changed things up a bit. I don't know how much territories you played.
I played a few games of each, yeah.
I found I preferred territories. Territories was definitely more enjoyable for me. But territories, when you were holding on to points and people could shoot through walls and stuff and just completely knock down buildings, it could change the point over the short time that the point was open. So there was a bit of interesting things to it. And if you were shooting at someone, you could shoot through, shoot a wall down and then shoot them. But I think there were a couple of moments where it's not very clear which walls you can destroy and which you can't, because there are a couple which you can't.
Well, I think you can destroy any walls, just some of them have a little bit more strength to them, where it takes more shots to kill it. Yeah,
it may be that, just it wasn't very obvious which was stronger.
Right. Yeah, because I believe it's supposed to be anything can be destroyed, just I think there are some walls that are stronger, because I tried it out for a little bit in one match, and I shot one of the stronger walls for a while, and it ended up starting to break apart, but it just took a little while, so.
Yeah, that may be it.
And you have a couple different guns you can use, too. It's not like the same amount of gun variety that you have in the campaign mode, but you have like a decent amount of guns. I mean, you have like your typical, shotgun, you have like a machine pistol, you have a plasma rifle, I believe, and then you have like some rocket launchers and stuff, so you have some decent variety of guns.
You also have the minigun as an option for your primary weapon, which I found is easily the best option for the primary weapon.
I agree, yeah. The only problem with the minigun is it takes a little bit to charge up, but once it charges up, it's awesome.
But even when it's shooting slow, it's still doing pretty much the damage of a plasma rifle. So you might as well just take the minigun, because it's not that inaccurate. It does a lot of damage, and if you don't kill them immediately, you're going to be shooting so many bullets that they're not going to be dodging much. So I don't know if you found any other primary or secondary weapons that you enjoyed. I found that the minigun was just slightly overpowered.
I mean, it's good when it charges up a little bit, but the problem is people can dodge out of the way of that so fast because it takes you so long to like charge it up. So you have to be kind of locked on at a distance, I think, where like they don't really notice you coming. Because if they know you're there, I don't think it really works as well in a one-on-one face-to-face fight. So I did kind of enjoy the machine pistol, even though it doesn't do a ton of damage. It's pretty versatile, where you can get some shots off really fast. So I ended up going with the machine pistol, and then I think the homing rocket, I believe, one of the rocket launchers. So
yeah.
It was kind of like a good combo, I think, where I had some good close range stuff, and then I had the rocket launcher where I could shoot them off at the distance.
I think pretty much every person was using the homing rocket launcher.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't see anyone not. But another thing I really did really like about Wrecking Zone was the mobility of it. It reminded me a bit more of Warframe, getting bringing that up. There's so much mobility to it. So there's vertical depth as well as horizontal depth to the maps, which is nice.
Yeah, I think it has a little bit of depth to it. Just for me, it didn't really have a lot of replayability because I basically the breakdown for me. I've played 8 hours of Crackdown 3 so far. I played 6 hours in the campaign. I played 2 hours in Wrecking Zone. And honestly, after my 2 hours in Wrecking Zone, I don't really feel a desire to go back to it. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but after 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I don't really feel a desire to ever go back to Wrecking Zone again.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those game modes where play 2 hours. The 2 hours will be fun, but you won't really have a reason to play it again.
Right. Which for me, the campaign is the opposite because I played 6 hours in the campaign. I want to go back to the campaign right now. Like, the campaign was fun for me, but Wrecking Zone is like, oh man, I really have to go back and play another match of this. Like, oh man.
How on earth have you beat so much of the campaign in 6 hours?
I played with somebody else, so I played some co-op.
All right. I haven't played any of the co-op.
Yeah, I played co-op with a friend, so that's how we got through a lot of it faster. But we'll get into that soon, though. But
yeah.
But one of the things that's very important to note with Wrecking Zone that is part of why it kind of tanks so bad in my view is there's no multiplayer with friends. So, like, if I wanted to play a game of Wrecking Zone with you, Monty, I can't do it. Like, you literally jump in with randoms every time. You can't actually invite a party member. I don't know if you tried, but there's no way to do it. And
I almost tried to join your co-op campaign game, but no, I haven't tried to play any multiplayer with friends.
Yeah, so in Wrecking Zone, there's no way to do it, and I don't understand how in 2019 you don't have that option. Like, this is an Xbox exclusive, and you have no option to have an Xbox party join a game with you. I mean, that seems really stupid to me because any other multiplayer game has that feature. How does this game not have that feature?
Wrecking Zone, I think, it's the sort of game mode that currently is very bare bones. But with a couple of reworks and updates, it could be really good. So some big game battles, things like, not quite Battlefield sizes, but sort of maybe some of the old Halo sort of big game battle styles, that could really improve it. Even just a small rework of the loadout screen, because the way you choose your weapons is cycling left and right, which can be a pain in comparison to the campaign weapon choosing, which is just a screen and it shows you all the different weapons and it tells you what they do. And if they just use the campaign style instead of the Wrecking Zone style, that could just make... It's just small ease of life things that could really improve it.
See, I mean, for me, you say a couple of small updates could improve it. For me, Wrecking Zone needs a complete overhaul. Like, the only thing that's good at Wrecking Zone, in my opinion, is the cloud destruction. And besides that, there's no fun in the modes. So, like, I would think they have to include more modes. They have to include progression elements, which I don't know why there's no progression elements because the campaign has progression. So why does the Wrecking Zone not have progression? So they need progression elements. They probably need some other skins that you can actually earn or pay for. That way it kind of keeps the game alive. You obviously need multiplayer with your friends. So to me, like, all these things combined, it pretty much needs a complete overhaul, which this game was already in development for 5 years. So I kind of think they're probably not going to overhaul much of it.
Yeah, no, I small updates and reworks. Like, there's definitely a couple of reworks, such as progression elements, which do need to be added. But it has potential, I think.
Which I guess we didn't officially mention the modes. We mentioned them kind of in passing, but the two modes that are available, you have territories, which we were talking about. Basically, this is your normal territory type match where you're collecting different territories. So the game will show, territory A, territory B. You have to go capture it as a team. When you capture it, it has like 50 points worth of points to give out. Once those 50 points go to a certain team, then basically the territory goes away and a new territory spawns. And that's kind of how that works. And basically your team wins by reaching the max score limit. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 250 was the score limit. But
yeah,
basically when one team... Okay, 250? All right, yeah. So basically when one team reaches 250, that team wins. So that's kind of how territories works. I don't know if you have anything else to add about territories, but it's pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory.
I think not something territory specific, but another small note on Wrecking Zone. When you first play it, it doesn't tell you what any of the game modes are. It just says Agent Hunter and territories, there's no description of what they are. There's no tutorial of how to play them, which was kind of odd when I was first playing it because I had no idea what I was doing in the game modes.
I think they kind of just assume that people will know from other games, sort of what the deal is. Because, I mean, Agent Hunter is the other mode, which this one, basically, the object is the first team to kill 25 agents and then grab their dog tags. You have to actually, say I kill Monty, I have to grab his dog tag to confirm the kill. So I think they just kind of assume people will get the idea after, one game, which I kind of did, so.
Yeah. And you'll understand it by the end of your first game. But it's
right.
just, all they need to do is add a text box on one corner of the screen just saying, first team to kill 20 to get 25 dog tags. It just feels like it would be a lot easier than having to go through a game.
No, that's probably true. But,
no,
I mean,
that was just a small little gripe I had.
Honestly, I don't really have a lot else to say about Wrecking Zone because I didn't have that much fun with it, and the campaign's really where I had a lot of fun. So unless you have something else to say about Wrecking Zone, I'd say let's just get into the campaign because that's where I actually had fun.
Yeah, no, I think we said what we need to say about Wrecking Zone.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, Wrecking Zone, it needs some work. Pretty much, we'll leave it at that. So
yeah.
And I would not recommend, in its current state, maybe they'll change in the future, but in its current state, I wouldn't recommend anyone play longer than 2 hours in it, because I played 2 hours in it and I was pretty bored, so.
Yeah, no, I think I played the same, if not slightly less.
But the campaign, however, that was a lot of fun, and basically with the campaign, you jump in as an agent. We both picked Terry Crews because, why not? I mean, it's Terry Crews, so we both played as Terry Crews. And basically, the object is to take down the evil Terra Nova Corporation. And this corporation, the main boss that you're trying to fight is named Elizabeth Neiman, and they're the CEO, kind of the main boss of the game. So they're like the CEO that's kind of the corrupt CEO of this game, and they have little mini bosses that kind of report to them, and you have to try and kill the whole corporation. And basically, you're an agent, which you have to pick one of several different skins. The agents pretty much are all the same. There's just a different skin on them. The only difference is they have different boosts to their abilities. So one agent will upgrade their agility faster. One agent will upgrade their explosives faster. But basically they're all the same. You're not gonna pick one agent and have a super advantage over the next agent. They basically all have the same advantages. Is what I'm trying to say.
No, I was just gonna say I found that I didn't really notice getting any particular bonuses or being encouraged to play a certain way from agent bonuses. So just
right.
You like the look up, really.
Yeah, because it basically has a 10% experience bonus to one category, but honestly, if you really want to level up a category, you can level it up with any agent. So it's basically just, certain agents have certain, starting bonuses, but that's about it.
Yeah,
but
it's you're however you want to play, it's not restricted. And that's one thing I really enjoyed about the game is you can just go out and do what you want.
Right, agreed. But as an agent, you basically have 5 abilities that can be leveled up, and you have weapons you can find, and you kind of take down the enemies in the game with that. So you're hunting around for weapons, you're trying to upgrade your abilities, and that's kind of the general gist of the campaign. But there's a lot of things you can actually do in the campaign. So do you want to mention something you can actually do in the campaign?
Yeah. So in the campaign. How the game is structured, but before you fight the main boss, there's 3 subsections, each of which have 3 bosses. And there's 2 low bosses, 1 medium boss, and then you get to the final boss.
Right.
But each of these different bosses, they have different areas in the map associated with them. So, for example, taking down things such as monorails. This gets you intel with one of the logistics bosses, Roxy. And then once you roll that, you can find the boss. And so fairly self-explanatory. But depending on which of these divisions it is, there'll be different sorts of enemies you'll fight. You can do races. There's tons of different, just general exploration rewards. So just for exploring the world, you can get agility orbs. There's a couple of different orbs I think you can get. I know there's hidden orbs. I don't know if there's any more. But these just give you points towards some of your abilities. So things like agility, strength.
Yeah, those are the only two orbs, is the agility and hidden orbs, which agility will give you points towards agility, and the hidden orbs, if you find those, are a little question mark, and basically that gives you points towards all the categories at once. So those are only two you can find, but the hidden orbs are obviously the better one, but I mean, you want to try and find both.
Yeah. So I know I found at least one hidden orb just running around. But you can also just find weapons around the place. There's just different spawn points you can take over. So as you play through more of the game, you'll expand the world. And there's always reasons to go back into areas you've already conquered. So, for example, finding these orbs and stuff. Places where you can do races, doing stunts. These can all increase your driving skill, which I know I did a lot of driving. I really enjoyed the driving mechanics in the game. There's a bunch of things you can do.
Oh, you enjoyed the driving? Because I was going to say that I actually didn't enjoy the driving, so I'm interested to hear your perspective on that.
I really liked the driving. No, I really liked the agency vehicle, and I liked how, after just driving around for a bit, you can just get a tank which you can spawn whenever you want.
And did you get a tank yet, or did you not level up that far yet?
Unfortunately, I didn't quite get there. I got to level 4,
Okay.
but you need level 5 in driving to get the tank. So I'm close, but I haven't quite got the tank yet.
So if you've gotten that high, that means you've probably done the rooftop races, right?
Actually, no. I literally just drove around the world, drifting and smacking enemies with cars. That was...
Oh, interesting. So you can literally just by drifting and stuff, you can level your driving?
Yeah, literally just driving around the world, you get points towards
That's interesting, because I thought you had to actually do the rooftop races, which I didn't do the races yet, so...
No,
my driving is still at 0. Like, I drive so little that my driving is still at 0.
No, I'm on 4. No, it's literally just driving around the world, you can get points towards it. Running over enemies, you can get a whole bunch of points towards it. Just doing a couple of stunts around the world, you can get a bunch of points for that as well. So I found driving was really easy and fun to level.
I'm surprised I haven't even got to 1 yet, because I have done some driving in the game, so but I just prefer walking because, you can do all those jumps and everything, so, no, I don't.
The agency vehicle is really fun. So the agency vehicle, you can...
My friend had it, though, but...
Yeah, so for the listeners, what the agency vehicle is you can pretty much summon it at any point when you're near a road and stuff. And there's 3 different forms that the agency vehicle can take on. When you first spawn it and when you first get it, it'll just be in the lightning mode. And this is basically a really fast car. You get it fairly early on. It's a good vehicle. Once you've got the agency vehicle, you find you won't really be using any others because you can spawn it whenever it's fast and strong. So the agency vehicle is really useful. Then when you get to level 3, you get the spider mode. And what the spider mode does is it lets the vehicle jump and you can climb up walls with it. And then when you get to level 5, you get the tank mode, which I haven't got yet, but I assume it's sort of a tank. Yeah,
I've seen actually pictures of it and stuff. It looks pretty cool, so it would be interesting to try it, but I don't know. I just preferred to, walk and, kind of dodge on foot more than driving. I mean, I basically only drove when, there's a location that was pretty far away from my point, so... Then I just, steal a civilian's car and I drive over there. But I didn't do a ton of driving besides, stealing somebody's car, so.
I'm just amazed that, nonetheless, you still haven't even got to driving 1.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that, too, because, I mean, I have driven, because I actually drove to, certain checkpoints and things, but I still haven't even gotten to 1, so I don't understand, because I've actually gotten hidden orbs, too, and I've gotten, maybe 6 or 7 hidden orbs, so... Even considering all that, it's still not at 1 yet, so I don't understand that, but hey.
You must be very close then, because, I haven't killed a single one of the extra of the bosses, and pretty much all of my abilities are at least at 2 or 3.
Yeah, it must be close, I guess, so I don't know. I'll have to keep trying, today, because I plan to hopefully finish the campaign today.
Definitely worth at least getting the agency. That's really fun.
But some of the things we didn't actually mention yet, have you done any of the prisoner holding areas?
Oh yeah, no, I did a bunch of them. I would sort of just drive around the world, find those, get out my car, shoot a bunch of people.
So do you want to explain to listeners what prisoner holding area exactly?
Yeah, so the prisoner holding area are sort of like small checkpoints that are located around the world. And sort of they vary in size. There's some that are really small, there are some that are bigger. And you can come up to them, kill all of the enemies, and then there's a console which you can come up to and release prisoners from. And this is one of the things that will help you get intel on one of the bosses, and help improve your standing in the world, get stronger, sort of thing.
Oh, that one actually doesn't help you get intel on the bosses? That's like a separate thing? Yeah.
Oh, I thought it did. Ignore me then. It doesn't.
Yeah. Basically, the prisoner holding area, like I asked my friend because he's a little bit more experienced at the game than I am, and basically what the prisoner holding area does is there's 12 of them. The more of them you free, the more the militia is going to help you take objectives. So the militia is actually going to help you conquer other objectives. So that's kind of the draw to actually freeing the prisoners, because if you free the prisoners, then they will actually take objectives for you when you're off doing other things. So it's kind of nice, actually.
It is worth sort of taking things around the world so even with monorails, which does get you intel on one of the bosses, I know that for a fact.
Yes, that one's for Roxy.
Yeah. Monorails, once you've taken a monorail and you go back to it, if you're being attacked by enemies, then the monorail will deploy a turret which will shoot at the enemies. So you'll get the more that you take over throughout the world, the more help you get. So it'll make huge things easier, things like that.
Yes, I mean that's kind of the prisoner holding areas, and another thing that we can actually conquer is called propaganda towers. And I didn't do a ton of these, but basically what a propaganda tower is kind of what you'd expect. It's a large tower that kind of is propaganda for the evil corporation. So you have to climb all the way to the top of the tower, and then you have to hack into the tower to disable it. And basically this is like, platforming kind of puzzle where you have to try and, make it to the next platform, keep climbing up, and make it to the next platform, keep climbing up. I only did one of these personally. My friend did like 2 other ones in my world, so I technically have credit for 3, but I only did one personally. Did you try any of these?
I only did the first one at the introduction. No, I didn't really do many more of that. I spent a lot of my time driving.
Yeah. See, I'm not one of those people that loves like the platform jumping too much, so it's not my style too much. But I mean, I do want to conquer them all just to say I got them all. So I probably will do it at some point. But there are like agility orbs usually at the top of them though, so you do actually get some rewards from doing it. So at least it's kind of rewarding to you in the same way.
Yeah, on the note of the climbing, I did find that the climbing was a bit janky at points. There'd be points where you'd jump against a surface which you should be able to climb or hold on to, and then it wouldn't let you. So I found a couple of problems just with smoothness with the climbing at times, which was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's my biggest downside to the game is there's some points in the game where if you don't have the proper agility, where, like, we'll get into this a little bit more later, but basically in your agility ability, you unlock other abilities where you have like a triple dash, like a double dash, like different random things. And basically if you don't have all the stuff unlocked, then some things when you go to face certain bosses, it's harder to face that boss if you don't have like, I don't have the triple dash or whatever. So I can't really get to certain areas as easily. And that's kind of what was most frustrating to me, because I was playing co-op with my friend and my friend could get to these areas, but I was having a hard time getting to these areas. So he'd be off fighting enemies and I'd have to like, spend 10 tries trying to make a certain jump. So that was what was frustrating to me, but at the same time, it's also partially my fault because I didn't have my agility leveled enough when I went to face that boss. So I guess it's partially my fault I didn't level up enough.
Yeah, obviously they're encouraging you to level up your agility with things like that.
Right.
I was doing the Enforcer mission in The Expanse, I think the area is called. And sort of the tower for that, you need to kill 4 officers. And there's 2 on the ground and 2 up the tower. And the 2 on the ground kill fairly easily. You can just run them over with the car, really. That's the quickest way to kill them. It makes the mission fairly easy. The second one was near a ledge, so you could climb up and then knock him off. But just even getting to where he was a bit of a pain, because climbing up the tower, quite often you'd get halfway up and then just fall all the way down. And that was just even more so true for getting to the top of the tower.
I've had that before.
So the game has a lot of verticality to it, which is interesting. It means that the world is fun to explore. There's a lot of different ways you can approach things, different missions, things like that. But when, parts of the game relies on this verticality, such as getting the agility orbs when all of them are on top of buildings and stuff, it's just annoying when, it just doesn't work half the time.
Right. And getting these agility orbs, it's kind of frustrating when you sort of need the next level to get the agility orbs, but in order to get to the next level, you need the agility orbs. So it's kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do here?
I say half the time. It's not half the time. Most of the time, it does work. It's just a moment.
There's just some spots in the game that are hard to get to unless you have a high agility. So anyone that's listening, I would definitely recommend, if you see an agility orb, try to get it, because the higher you get your agility, the better access you're going to have in the game, where you're going to be able to get into more spots with a higher agility.
Yeah, definitely.
But we didn't actually talk about the intel points yet. This is something I didn't actually do because I didn't really care too much about it, but basically these are little intel points that you can go unlock other characters, and the reason why I didn't do this is because the characters don't really offer too much different for you, for one. So, like, if I got a new character unlocked, it wouldn't offer too much different for me. And two, I didn't want to switch characters anyways. I just wanted to play as Terry Crews. So, for me, I didn't really bother with the intel points. I mean, maybe at some point I would do them when I had nothing else to do, but I don't know if you did these.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know that you could unlock other characters. I was just, start of the game, I'm playing Terry Crews.
Yeah, there's other characters that were like on the airship with them that are, grayed out if you go to select them. And basically with these intel points that you find in the world, you can unlock the other characters, because basically it's like a little hologram of that character. So you can go unlock them, but to me there really wasn't much of a point, because it's basically just a different skin. It's the same exact, like, there's no new stats or anything. It's just a different skin. And I just wanted to play as Terry Crews anyway, so for me it didn't really matter.
Yeah, no, I definitely support the same page.
I mean, maybe if I had nothing else to do in the game, I'd probably go for that at that point, but I have other things to do in the game, so I'm not going to go for that.
I suppose it could be good endgame, but maybe in the future, if they changed it so all of the different characters had an ability as well, that would make it more worth it.
Right, something unique to them, yeah.
Yeah, but I think in its current state, I just stayed in Terry Crews.
Right. And then we did mention there's, different weapons, cars, and grenades. You can unlock all these things. So basically to unlock that, it's really, really simple. If you kill an enemy that has a certain gun you don't have, you just pick up that gun and then you have it unlocked. And that's how simple it is. So.
And again, it's the sort of thing where hidden around the world are a couple of weapons as well. So I mentioned the Enforcer point I did. After I complete that, and I've taken down all of the energy cells in the place, I got a new type of grenade from that, and then I drove around the corner and I found another type of grenade. So there are different weapons just hidden around the map as well, so that's quite fun to find.
Which, since we are on weapons, did you have any favorite weapons that you really liked a lot?
I really like the cryo shotgun. I ended up getting that, and that was really fun.
I have that one, yeah. I tried that for a little bit, but it wasn't my favorite too much.
I just liked how, it did the damage of a shotgun, but you freeze people, so you could essentially have people still at half health, but just out of battle, they won't be damaging you because they're frozen. I also really like the grenade launcher. I don't know if you got that.
I don't think I have that one, no. I have 18, there's 24 guns, and I have 18 unlocked, so I'm missing 6, so I think the grenade launcher is one of the ones I'm missing, actually.
So the grenade launcher I got by taking down a parking garage. There was a enemy there who was like a grenadier type of character. He had a grenade launcher, killed him, and took his grenade launcher. And that's just a really useful weapon, because if there's a whole bunch of enemies shooting at you, shoot that at them. That's gonna knock them back, knock them over, and do a bunch of damage if they don't die. It's also really good against vehicles as well. So if there's blocks of vehicles chasing after you, shoot a couple of grenades at that, and that'll blow up vehicles. So I found the grenade launcher was really fun. And then, is it the Mutilator? The acid gun?
I know which one you're talking about, but I think it has a different name. I think it does start with an M, I believe. I think
it's M something.
Morphid, or like, I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it definitely starts with M, yeah.
That I quite enjoyed as well, so just having an acid gun which I could shoot.
Yeah, for me, some of the ones I enjoy, which I don't know if you found any of these yet, but I kind of jotted down 6 that were probably my favorite 6. The 3 explosive guns I liked were the jackhammer, the homing rocket, and the decimator. And then the 3 kind of more machine gun types that I liked were the minigun, the bolt thrower, and the prophecy. So I don't know if you've seen those guns at all, but those were all ones I kind of enjoyed.
No, I didn't see those. But I think just on a quick note, the starting PDW was actually a really good gun. I ended up using that quite a lot. Like just dropping my gun, picking up a random PDW. So I think even just the starting gun in the game is pretty good. I'm not sure if there's any.
Yeah, I would agree, yeah. It seems like the prophecy is probably the best machine gun as far as I can tell, but the bolt thrower, even though it's not as good, I just kind of enjoyed the way it feels because it's basically like I think it's like shoots construction bolts, where like it's kind of like a nail gun sort of is what I envision it as.
Yeah.
So, but it kind of operates pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. I found it off one of the guys in like the machine area, which makes sense. So, one of the machine guys, I killed him, and he had that. So
yeah, just a quick note on the machine area. I had a funny moment with the Spider agent vehicle where I was driving along and my car set on fire. So I jumped out of it and it went over a random hill. And then it blew up and took down the machine, so I randomly took down the machine from getting out of my car, which was
that's awesome. I think that's one of the features, actually. That's the ability of driving, so that you might have actually triggered it by accident.
Self-destruct. No, that's an ability you get at level 4. My car was just blowing up at that point. But you can choose to do that once you get that ability.
But I didn't know if you knew this, actually. There's actually some special grenades that you can get that aren't like damage grenades, because I have my firearms leveled up enough that I got a special grenade called Ammo Field, where I can throw this grenade out and it basically creates a circle where it replenishes our ammo. So you don't have to actually go to an ammo point. It replenishes your ammo for you right there. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so the grenade I got from the Enforcer point was actually the Matter Duplication grenade. I don't know if you got that.
No, I don't have that one yet.
So basically, things that you can pick up, that's one thing you can do in the game. I don't think we've mentioned that yet, but sort of debris, rocks, sort of small things like that.
Pick stuff up and throw it at enemies, yeah.
Yeah. But with the matter duplication grenade, if you're looking at something you can pick up, instead of walking over to it and picking up, you can use your grenade and it creates a duplication of that in your hands.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, I think even with things like explosive barrels, you could just duplicate the explosive barrel into your hands.
That's kind of cool, actually.
So yeah, no, that was really good, and it's sort of rewards like that you get from doing points around the world was really, really nice.
Which I know there's actually a grenade that I don't have yet, but my friend had it. It's actually a healing grenade where you can throw it out and it's actually a healing field, so it heals you and your partner if you stand in there. So that's kind of a cool grenade too.
Yeah, no, that seems quite useful given I found quite a few times in the game where I'd have to duck out of a fight, heal up, and then go back into it.
Yeah. Which we should probably mention too, healing, it's not like you need like med packs or anything. Literally all you have to do is just, not be shot for a little while and your health regenerates for you.
Yeah, so it's fairly simple.
Or actually, if you kill enemies. If you kill enemies, your health regenerate, or if you just not get shot. So basically, if you kill some enemies, you can get your health back, or if you just avoid damage.
I think it's shields you get from enemies and health just from not getting shot. Is that it?
I think it said you get health back from enemies too. I don't know what kind, if it's certain kind or a certain amount of enemies you have to kill, but I think you can get health back from enemies.
I know you definitely get shields from enemies, so you get that back.
So at least something like that then.
That sort of thing. But since we've been talking about enemies so much, we should probably talk about the types of enemies, the 3 divisions.
Yeah, we can do that. I just want to mention one other thing, though. The supply points, you mentioned it very briefly earlier, and I just wanted to mention that the supply points, basically what that is, you go take out a couple of enemies, it's not that many, and then you claim this supply point, and this supply point is kind of like your respawn points. If you die, you can go to any supply point that you claimed, and you can also reload your ammo there. So it's kind of a nice little checkpoint that you can get to, respawn at. So that's kind of what the supply points do.
Yeah, and at some of the supply points you can also spawn in vehicles as well. So,
Right.
as we've mentioned, just to unlock vehicles, you just get in it, and then it'll add it to the vehicles you can spawn. So it's fairly simple.
Yeah, but as you were saying, we can kind of get into the enemies. Basically, there's 3 divisions within the corporation. So to unlock the lower level bosses, you have to first take out their type of objective points. So, for example, logistics. There's the monorails, which is the objective point you have to take out to face Roxy. For example, the industry, the chemical leader is Digimon Keita, and you have to take out his chemical plants to unlock him. So there's a certain amount you have to take out in order to unlock the boss. So I think for Keita, you have to take out like 7 chemical plants, and then you can actually face him. For the monorail, I think it's like 5 you have to take out, and then you can face the monorail leader. So there's different numbers you have to take out for each type of leader. But basically, if you take out a number of these objective points, you can face the lower level bosses. And then if you kill the lower level bosses, you go to the higher level bosses. So we can kind of get into the different divisions if you want, but that's kind of how the system works.
Yeah. So sort of, I think we've pretty much mentioned the 3 divisions mostly. So logistics, industry, security.
Yeah, so basically logistics, the very first boss you face in the first 5 minutes is Wilhelm Berg. He's like the manpower boss that kind of covers the gate to the city. And when you kill him, you get access to the city. And essentially, you're guaranteed to beat him pretty much. I mean, they make him very easy, so you kind of get a feel of what the game is. So he's the first logistics boss. The second one is Roxy, which is the monorail leader. And basically, you have to take out a certain amount of monorail points. And then you go face Roxy, which is a supercomputer. So basically, Roxy's a computer. You just go take out the computer. And then you kind of move on to the boss of them. So that's kind of how this works. Basically, there's a couple of lower level bosses, and there's like their lieutenant, that's their boss. So if you kill both of these bosses, then you have to face the lieutenant, Alois Quist, and he's the logistics division leader. And basically, he's up in a tower somewhere. All these, lieutenant bosses are up in a tower somewhere, so they're a little bit harder to get to. But basically, there's a lot of agility obstacles in these fights where you have to make some crazy jumps in order to get to the next point. And you take out Quist, and then you can kind of keep moving on. And the industry, there's the chemical leader, which I mentioned, Digimon Keita. They're basically like the chemical plants. My favorite one to face, I don't know if you face any of the machine plants, but the manufacturer leader was Reza Khan. And I kind of like facing the machines, because when you face the machines, it's really cool where you actually have to shoot off different parts of the machine to break it. So I don't know if you faced those, but those are really cool, actually.
That does just bring up one thing I really liked about the game is the sort of how you can select where you're shooting when you're locked on something. Sort of,
right.
If you're shooting at something, sort of it'll take a couple of seconds to scan it, and once you've scanned it, then you can pick where you shoot at it. So you could shoot its arms, its legs, its body, its head. All had different effects. But that was one nice little feature in the game, which I quite enjoyed.
No, I agree, and I like how the game has different, types of fights, basically, because the logistics fights, they have, a lot more aerial agility stuff involved, where the industry type fights, it has a lot more where, okay, take out these chemical plants, or take out this, machine, and then when you face the bosses are in a machine themselves, so... Or technically, Keita is not in a machine. I won't really spoil what happens with him, but it's a little bit different. But you face them in a machine, and their lieutenant boss is Catala Vargas. And basically, when you face them, you have to climb up to a tower and then take them out, which actually, that's the hardest boss I've faced so far. Vargas is pretty tough. We ended up doing it, but it's a pretty tough boss. So basically, everyone I've mentioned so far, I've taken out the entire logistics division, and I've taken out the entire industry division. So I only have 3 bosses left in the game for me to win. I don't know about yourself.
Well, I've taken out the opening boss. That's
it. All right, so you got one. Only a couple more to go.
Only a couple. No, I think I've just been more so enjoying the world and having fun rather than trying to go through the story as much.
No, and I understand that. I think for me, because I knew I was going to do a podcast about the whole thing, I kind of wanted to speed run through the bosses and get to really feel the story. So my friend and I, we just kind of, went through and kind of trash, all the bosses and killed them all. So
Yeah, no, I sort of wherever I ended up, if there was a mission there, I'd do it. If I ended up near a monorail station, I'd do it. Which reminds me, one other nice thing is that each of the different divisions has different grunts to fight. So things like monorails, you'll face more robots, and they've got drones as well. Industry, there's, as you mentioned, there's machines.
Mechs are tough.
Yeah, no, So after my vehicle exploded and destroyed the machine, there was a mech there, and he very, very, very swiftly killed me. But they also have people with acid lasers. I think that's the same one that I mentioned earlier. And security, they've got things like shotguns and stuff.
Yeah, and the chemical plants too. What makes those hard sometimes is there's a lot of chemical waste around the plants. So some of these chemical plants are like on an island. So in order to get to them, you have to kind of swim through chemical waste, and they kind of damage you. So there is a point where I think if you get to strength at level 4, you actually don't get damaged by that anymore. But if you don't have strength level 4, you get damaged by that. So you have to kind of watch out for stuff like that too.
Yeah, no, I think very early on I took down the 2 different. There was some. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it was for acid production, and they were sort of two big. How to describe them, but sort of like pumps. And I decided it would be a good idea to shoot them, and that took a while to shoot. And only after destroying the first one by shooting and most of the second one by shooting, did I realise I could have just dropped a rock in them to destroy them immediately.
Yeah, I think that's what my friend did too, which I didn't really realize you could do that. So
yeah, so
I guess I'll have to try and look at that.
It's good that there's these different ways of taking down these environmental things to do with industry. But I think where the game does lack a bit, I mentioned it in Wrecking Zone, is explaining how some elements of the game work. Because it took me a solid 15-20 minutes to destroy those pumps, when it could have taken 2 seconds just to drop rocks into them.
Well, hey now, Monty, you're supposed to be Terry Crews. Do you really need all that help?
That was one thing I noticed. Terry Crews looked very slim in the game. You see the other operators you can be, and they were all hugely buff, and then Terry Crews, they had to nerf him. He was too strong.
Which I guess I'll take this point, too, to mention that the opening cutscene with Terry Crews, that's like the most amazing cutscene ever. It's like a really cool cutscene.
It's great. I'm so glad they got Terry Crews into this.
The one thing I kind of bummed about, though, is after that opening cutscene, you don't really get a lot of Terry Crews after that. I mean, you get a couple like small one-liners, but it sounds like they probably didn't have the budget to like have cutscenes with him after that, because after that opening cutscene, he's not involved too much.
Yeah, but I suppose. But it's just quite nice, even just going around the world and occasionally hearing just some voice lines from him. I quite like voice lines.
I agree. But we actually didn't mention one of the divisions. We didn't mention the security division, and this is the only division I have to kill still. And the security division is actually a little bit different because this only has 1 low-level boss and then the lieutenant. So there's only 2 bosses instead of 3. But they have Liv Sorensen, that's the enforcer leader, and then Lieutenant Clily Nagata, I think that's how you say it. That's the security division leader. So basically you take them out, and then if you take down all 3 divisions, that's when you get to face the CEO of the Terra Nova Corporation, Elizabeth Neiman. So that's kind of like the endgame boss.
Yeah, no, I think I did a bit of security stuff. Which reminds me, after taking down the enforcer place where I got the mass duplication grenade, I got an alert. I haven't opened it yet because I'm not sure how. The game doesn't really explain how to open some of the menus, but I think that's towards enforcer stuff. I'm sorry I can't say exactly because I don't know how to open the menu to check what it is, but I have something from it. So I'm guessing from taking down enforcer places.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to follow along what you're saying, but I'm not really sure what you're getting at, so...
It's hard to explain because I don't know what it is, because I don't know how to open the menu. But it got me
Well, I
something.
mean, I know the select button, you can open the menu up, but I don't know if that helps what
But
you found.
it's not in the select menu, that's the thing. There's an alert I have at the side of my screen next to an Enforcer logo, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's some alerts that you get after taking down key places.
Yeah, I'd probably have to see it in order to find out. I don't know.
Hopefully I'll find out one day what it is.
You actually did make me think of something, though. Did you experience any lockdowns in the game yet? Or did you not get far enough to experience lockdowns?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So basically a lockdown, when you kill one of these bosses, a lockdown will happen, and basically the CEO comes on the screen with a cutscene, and she's like, hey, hey, like I'm paraphrasing here, but she's kind of like, hey, why are you killing my bosses? Here's some guys to throw at you, and you can fight them. They're gonna kill you. So basically, she sends a lot of people after you at once, and you have to kill enough of these enemies to get to 100%, and then when you get to 100%, it clears the lockdown, and you defeat the lockdown. So it's kind of like a high-level battle that happens after the bosses. So right after fighting the boss, you have to fight like another slew of enemies.
That sounds quite fun. I found that whenever
fun, yeah.
you're facing large amounts of enemies, that was generally when it was hardest, because it was hard to find angles where you could not get shot to heal.
It is, yeah, definitely. But, I haven't taken out security people yet, but, later today, we're recording this on a Tuesday, I'm going to try and take out the security people and, beat the game. So, definitely check out the video of that if you listen to this later and you want to check it out. But we did talk about the abilities a little bit, so we kind of get into those a little bit more. So, one of the abilities is driving, which I'll let you talk about this one a little bit more because you obviously had a lot more experience than I did, but essentially how this works is level 0, you have like an ability, which is vehicle requisition, which basically just means that I can steal cars of, civilians, and that's basically what I can do right now, because I'm at level 0. But once you get to level 1, you get delivery on demand, you get agency lightning, and you get ejector seat, and then it kind of climbs up, like Monty said, where level 5 is your meme machine. So you can kind of talk about this a little bit more because you've had a little bit more experience driving, and you can kind of talk, maybe what the different abilities might do.
Yeah, so level 0 doesn't really mean much. Everyone starts with that. The vehicle requisition, that just means you can get vehicles sort of thing. As Derek mentioned. Level 1, Agency Lightning. This is the agency vehicle that I spoke about. So Lightning is the mode where it's really fast. Delivery on demand, that's just the skill that lets you summon it. That's very simple. Ejector seat. So when you're driving around in the agency vehicle, you can click Y and you'll jump out of the top, which is useful if you're jumping up to towers, tall places, if there's some enemies on a bridge above you, things like that. That just gives you a bit of
cool, actually.
Yeah, so it's helpful with agility things, driving around the world. It's just a nice little useful skill to have. Agency Spider. This is just another mode for the agency vehicle. As I mentioned, it can jump and climb up walls. Level 3, Self-Destruct. You can choose to explode your vehicle. It's fairly simple. It's self-explanatory. You can blow up your vehicle. Level 4 is the Agency Minotaur, so this is the tank.
I think it might be the tank, and I think 5, the meme machine, I think it just allows your vehicle to do something else. I forget exactly what.
I must be driving 3, not 4, as I said earlier then.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's what the Minotaur is. I'm not sure what meme machine does, but as you mentioned, I guess it's just improving the vehicle, makes it stronger, things like that.
Right. And then one of the other abilities you can get is explosives, and basically level 0 is demolition, which basically just means that you can use explosives. So, everyone starts with this. Everyone starts at level 0 with everything. Level 1 is bag of tricks. This basically just means that you can carry more explosives on you in your inventory. Level 2 is Olympic grenade. It's basically just a grenade that's like a sticky grenade. It unlocks it for you. Level 3 is rocket rack. I honestly forget exactly what this one does. Level 4 is what I'm at right now for explosives, is Big Bag of Tricks. Basically, it just allows extra inventory for your explosives, so not too much really. Just, you can carry more of them. And then level 5 is where it's really cool, actually. I don't know if you've seen this at all or if you've looked into it, but it's called a singularity grenade.
No, is it some like gravity grenade?
Kind of, yeah, because basically you throw this grenade out and everything that's within the vicinity of that grenade kind of gets sucked into the grenade and kind of blows up. So it's really cool, actually. So it sucks like cars in, enemies, whatever, and it kind of blows them all up at the same time.
I imagine
a gravity grenade.
Yeah, that'd be really useful with things like grenade launchers. If you could just pull everyone into one spot and then chuck a bunch of grenades in there.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to use that one because I'm at level 4 explosives, so when I get to level 5, I actually unlock that. So I'm kind of excited to unlock that.
Yeah, that sounds like very useful.
Do you want to talk about the strength ones?
I certainly can. So strength starts at 0 again. Smash and grab. Well, I'm not entirely. Smash, I'm guessing, is just your default punch.
Right, then grab is you can just grab, any item basically.
Oh yeah, that's so that's just picking up things like rocks, debris, as I mentioned earlier. Energy grip. I think that lets you pick things up from further. If I remember correctly. Ground pound, which I'm pretty sure is where I'm at. If you're in the air, you can click B and you do a ground pound. And the higher you are, the bigger the ground pound, the more damage you do. Flying fist, I'm guessing that's the dash punch.
Yes, the dash punch.
Yeah, frog. So just a quick note, in Wrecking Zone, I'm pretty sure that you start with everything maxed. So that's a good way to experience some of the abilities without actually having them.
And the dash punch, for anyone that doesn't know, basically what it means is you kind of just dash and, you have your fists out in front of you, and it's kind of like a supercharged punch.
Yeah. Resilience, I'm guessing that's what makes you, immune to the acid and everything.
Right, that's what that is. Yeah, acid, cold. I haven't seen cold yet, but I guess you can be immune to cold too, so I don't know.
Well, that'll be things like the cryo shotgun.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And graviton, I'm not entirely sure what they do. Is that just increasing damage?
That one actually allows you to pick up heavy items like cars. You can pick up like whole cars and throw them at people.
That seems like a very useful ability.
So you can throw whole cars at like mechs and stuff.
Yeah, when cars explode, or any vehicle explodes really, it does a lot of damage to enemies. So being able to throw cars at people, especially if you can get them near a road where you'll blow up other cars with the explosion, get a bit of a chain explosion, that could kill a lot of people.
Yeah, and currently I'm at the level 3, which is Flying Fists, so that's where I'm at right now. But the 4th ability you can get is Firearms, which level 0 is Armed and Dangerous. This is what everyone starts with. Basically, it just allows you to use guns pretty much. It's pretty much the gist of it. Level 1 is Deadeye. This unlocks a locking feature where you can lock onto enemies easier and kind of, just shoot them faster. So you use your left trigger, you lock onto them easier, and then just shoot them. Level 2 is Ammo Pack. Ammo Pack just allows you to have more ammo in your inventory. So basically, you just carry more ammo in your guns. Level 3, it unlocks a new gun called a Vortex Cannon. Honestly, it's a pretty shit gun, so it's not really worth the unlock, but you have the gun, I guess. So it's one of the worst guns, though, actually. Level 4, I'm at level 4 right now. This is the Agency Ammo Field. That's what I talked about earlier, where it gives you that special grenade where you could throw it down and get your ammo replenished, which that's kind of cool, actually.
Does that replace grenades?
Yes, that counts as your grenade.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, just because the agency vehicle you can just summon, so it's a separate ability to use vehicles. So I was just wondering because it has an agency.
Yeah, because you basically get one item slot, which is like your right bumper, and then that counts as your item slot. So basically, it's your item. So it's still worth it, though, I think, in most cases. Because, if you're in a bad situation where you're fighting a lot of enemies, you could throw that down and get your ammo back and keep fighting. So
yeah, definitely useful.
And then the 5th one is the Graviton Tether. I think that's similar to the Singularity Grenade, where you kind of can shoot and it kind of draws stuff towards it and makes a bigger explosion. I don't remember exactly yet because I haven't unlocked it yet, but I remember from, I checked out the little animation because you can actually check these out before you unlock them by just going into your menu and looking at the little demonstration of it. And I think from the demonstration, it does something like that.
Right.
And if you want, you can go over the last ability.
I certainly can. I can try at least. So these ones are mostly self-explanatory. Combat roll, you can do a roll. Boosters, so
this is agility, by the way.
Sorry, this is agility. Boosters, that's your double jump, I believe.
Yes.
Yep. Air dash, you can do a dash in the air. That's really useful for mobility and stuff.
That's where I'm at right now. I don't know where you're at, but I'm at level 2.
I think I'm at level 2 for that as well. Then agency launchpad, I'm guessing this is an item you can use?
Yeah, that's an item. You can throw it down on the ground, and then basically you jump on this, and it sends you flying in the air. So it's like a really super high jump.
Yeah. Then double dash, fairly self-explanatory. You can do 2 air dashes, and then triple jump. You can do a triple jump. So those are all fairly self-explanatory, simple, but all really useful skills to have. Especially.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, you definitely want to level these up because there's going to be certain areas in the game where if you don't have at least level 2 agility, you can't get there. And there's areas that I'm at right now where, like, facing some of these higher level bosses, I'm not at level 3 yet, but I wish I was at level 3 because if I didn't have my friend with me, I probably wouldn't be able to do it because there's some certain points that he had to put down a launch pad for me just to be able to move on. Because if he didn't have the launch pads, I probably wouldn't be able to move on. So you definitely want to level up your agility.
Yeah, no, agility is definitely one of the, like, even when you're trying to climb up a building and you miss a jump, just having a third jump just so you can get back to where you were without falling down the entire way, that's really useful.
Right. But that's all the abilities, so that's pretty much it with that. I mean, do you have anything else to add with different things you can do in the game? I think we pretty much covered most of the things.
I think that's pretty much everything. I know we've pointed out a few negatives and jankiness here and there, but overall, I do really enjoy the game. It's very Saints Row 3-esque in how fun it is. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's an enjoyable game where you can mess around. So I did really enjoy playing Crackdown 3.
No, I definitely agree. And if you're playing the campaign, I would say, which a lot of other people agree with this estimate, that it takes about 8 to 10 hours to clear the campaign if you're just going for the campaign itself. If you're going for, trying to do like all the achievements, like all the unlocks, like all that kind of like extra stuff, I would say it's probably going to take you about 15 to 25 hours. So probably within, 25 hours, you can probably 100% the game. If you're someone that likes 100% everything, then you could probably 100% the whole game in about 25 hours.
Yeah, and sort of even just casually playing, which might also be good.
Right.
There's plenty of content, so it is.
Yeah, so I would say the campaign is definitely worth it. The Wrecking Zone, in my opinion, is not worth your time, really, but, I mean, that's what they have the campaign for, so at least the campaign's there. Just play the campaign and don't play Wrecking Zone, is what I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think.
And we should mention price point, too. The price point of this game is $60. Even though I like the game and I had fun with it, I don't think it's worth $60 at all. I would say this game is worth $30, so basically what I would say is until the price drops, I would just get Game Pass and play it on Game Pass because it's not worth $60 to me.
Yeah, no, it's like $60 is a lot for this game.
It is.
It's definitely a Game Pass game where it's on the Game Pass. It's worth downloading and playing. But yeah, $30 is the upper end. I'm not sure how that translates into pounds. £30 at least.
So you think it's worth $30 as well? Because I think $30 is a fair price for this game. You're going to get enough enjoyment out of it for $30, I think. So if they would price it at $30, I think it's fair enough to buy it for $30. But until it drops to that price, I would say get the Game Pass.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because, I mean, more than $30, like $60, that's just crazy because you're basically, at most, you're probably getting 25 hours out of the campaign if you're, doing every single thing in the campaign. And then Wrecking Zone, I mean, I'd say probably maximum, you're probably only going to get like maybe 10 hours of it if you really, really love Wrecking Zone, but you're going to get bored of Wrecking Zone after a while. So you're talking, maybe 35, 40 hours altogether in the game for $60. That's not really worth it. I mean, it's less than $1 an hour, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so I think
or more than
it's a
$1
good
an
game.
hour, sorry.
It's an enjoyable Game Pass game, but I wouldn't buy it at full price.
Right. So unfortunately, if you're not on Xbox, you can't even play it anyways. But if you are on Xbox, then hey, you can get it on Game Pass, so it's pretty easy for you. So I would say, Crackdown 3, definitely worth playing, and I really enjoyed it. So, I'm going to get back into it today. Do you think after the podcast you're going to get back into it?
I think it is, actually. I think I'd definitely play more of the campaign, even just to get that tank to drive around in that. But I think you definitely...
Awesome. Maybe we can link up sometime and, play some campaign.
Yeah, man. You can see what the agency did.
Yeah, I'm up for that. So I can see your tank when you get it.
Definitely.
But that's pretty much what we have for Crackdown 3. So, I hope everyone enjoyed this, and it's been a fun episode. As I said at the top of the show, the next podcast is going to be on Saturday. We're going to talk about State of Decay 2 again. The next stream you can possibly catch, I might stream Thursday nights. I'm not sure what game yet, but I'm off on Thursday nights. I might do a stream then. And I do want to mention again that this could be the last Wednesday episode of the podcast, because once the 1-year anniversary hits, I'm going to be doing some restructuring. So... nothing bad. It's all going to be, for the better, and kind of, trying to move the podcast along in a positive direction. So hopefully the restructuring works out well, and I'm looking forward to sharing that all with you guys, and I'm still working on it all. But, that's Crackdown 3 for us. So, Monty, if people want to find you and get in contact with you, how can they do so?
They can do so on Xbox, Epic Duck, no capitals, spaces between each word, DEH, space epic, space duck. But they can find me there if they want. I'm going to use this time to shamelessly plug my Instagram for those of you that have any interest in Warhammer. Come this year, I've been doing Instagram following all my painting, and that's going well. So that's the Steel March, the_Steel_March. I've got a bunch of Iron Warriors stuff in there for 30k and 40k players. I've also been covering a lot with my Age of Sigmar armies as well, so anyone interested in that, go check it out. I'm also in the Discord. I'm not very active because I'm busy, but I'm in there, and you can find my profile, Hanzo Main, and you can PM me if you want to contact me as well.
And in case anyone does want to check it out, is that Steel with S-T-E-E-L or E-A-L?
Yes, S-T-E-E-L.
Okay. Just want to make sure, because there's two spellings for steel, so I don't want people to get confused. So.
Better safe than sorry, right?
Exactly. So that's S-T-E-E-L if you want to check out this Instagram. But if you want to contact me, you can do so via email, theblaisexperience@gmail.com. You can contact me via Twitter or my Xbox Live, which is both going to be @BlaiseXperience, capital B-L-A-I-S-E, capital X-P-E-R-I-E-N-C-E. You can find me on YouTube or Discord. Both of those links will be in the show notes. I will say that Discord I check every day. YouTube I only check maybe once a week. So if you comment on YouTube, I will get back to you. Just it's not a platform that I use too often. But I will get back to you if you comment on there. And the podcast will be available on there. The podcast is also available on Stitcher. It's on Podbean, Blueberry, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and basically any directory you can think of, for the most part. So check out those directories. And also in my Discord, I will have a direct download link. If you don't want to use an app, then you can just check my Discord. I will have a direct download link for you where you just click the link and it'll automatically download. So if you don't want to use an app, you can always download it that way. But I really appreciate everyone listening. Monty, thank you for being here again. It's nice to have you back after a couple months.
As always, thanks for having me. It's been wonderful.
And thank you to the audience. Leave us some feedback and let us know what you thought of the episode. So thank you very much for listening to the Blaise XPerience.